Taylor. Welcome to another episode. Today I am going to make an upgraded version of bruschetta. My husband and I call this meal the tomato meal when we are asking each other if we can make it. It feels really fresh and light as you're eating it too, and you still get full from it, but you don't feel weighed down, heavy, tired after. So yeah, let's get going. So I am gonna make some garlic cheese bread as the base of the bruschetta. To start, take a baking sheet and cover it with foil. I'm gonna go ahead and start the oven. I started the oven at 375. Now it depends on how fast you wanna make this, if you want to bake it or broil it. The best way to make the garlic cheese bread is to bake it if you have a couple minutes more. I mind to bake at this time. If it is not going fast enough, then I'll turn it to broil. I have leftover hamburger buns, and this is my favorite way to do it. I also, if I don't have hamburger buns, you can easily do it with just plain white sandwich bread or any kind of bread that you like. It's great after you've had a cookout and you're having all these buns. You might not want to freeze them. Well, this is a great way to use up hamburger buns. If you have extra tomatoes, any extra lettuce from salads, this is going to use a lot of those ingredients. All right, let's make the garlic cheese bread. All right, take 2 buns worth. Take olive oil and just put a nice helping of olive oil on each. Take a spoon and just spread the olive oil so it is from crust to crust or end to end. And then you'll flip all of them and do the same thing. So our buns are oiled on both sides. Now when they're gonna go into the oven, you want them like this so that the inner part of the bun is face down, and there's a reason for that. So when we get it out of the oven in a few minutes, we're gonna flip it, and that's gonna be like where we put the garlic, the cheese. So we wanna start with this side first, getting a little toasted. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven. While that starts to bake, let's do the bruschetta. So I took cherry tomatoes and I quartered them. So it depends on how much you are making for your family. Bruschetta this way is gonna be good for about 3 days after you make it. So I went ahead and cut some tomatoes, and we'll cut a couple more. I also like to use a bread cutting knife. It is a lot easier. It doesn't bruise the tomatoes as much. And if your knife isn't sharp, like if you didn't have a bread knife, you're using a normal butcher knife, then you don't have to worry if it's not sharp enough. So the bread knife is the way my husband and I cut all of our tomatoes. So I'm just quartering it. Ooh, I cut up some red onion, and it's sitting beside me in this bowl. It is making, I just thought of the saying from Seinfeld, these pretzels are making me thirsty. But the onions are like stinging my nose a little bit and my eyes. It's a strong onion. Now that the tomatoes are cut, we're gonna add red onion. You can also use white onion too, but my oven was ready. You can also use white onion too, but red onion is just nicer since it's not gonna have quite the same bite as the white onion. And add as much onion as you would like. For a bite of the bruschetta, 3/4 tomato, 1/4 of red onion is kind of what we look at. So I'm gonna add some, mix, and see if I need to add more. The bread, when I know it's ready to be flipped, is I'm gonna just kind of take my finger and just tap the top of the bread and see if it has a little crunch kind of to it, and then it'll be ready to flip. Feels perfect. Hear the crunch too. Just gonna flip them. Now they're flipped, I am going to add garlic. In my last video, I talked about how my husband and I love to get garlic like this. It's so easy to use. Always use a clean utensil, and this jar will last a long time. I'm gonna use a fork because I don't want to get too much of the garlic juice, and you're gonna think, wow, that's a lot of garlic onto one piece. Add however much garlic you want. Garlic in jars like this are not as strong. And also I'm used to eating a lot of garlic because my husband and I both love garlic. I'm gonna put this back into the oven for just like a minute. I just want it to evaporate some of the garlic liquid that was placed on the bread so it doesn't become soggy, and then just cook slightly the garlic. So just for a minute. The bread went in just for a minute with the garlic on it. Now we're gonna put on cheese. I'm gonna put mozzarella cheese, just like the garlic and the olive oil before it, putting cheese from crust to crust. I make this garlic bread all the time for the bruschetta, or as we call the tomato meal, or pasta. Sometimes I just make it as a side. I'm gonna put the bread back into the oven just until the cheese is melted. Let's finish up the bruschetta and then we can eat. So we have the cherry tomatoes and the red onion. I'm gonna add some of that garlic into this as well. Normally I only have dry basil, which is a great thing to add to it, but I have fresh basil today, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. I'm gonna roll these and just chop them. Fresh basil just smells so good. It reminds me of eating like caprese salads. As soon as I smell this, it makes me think of just basically the same ingredients, but in a caprese salad instead. It smells great. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. The garlic cheese bread is out of the oven. Let's assemble. So I have my garlic cheese bread. I have the bruschetta. I also have prosciutto. Prosciutto can be kind of pricey sometimes. This is from Costco. It tastes great, and it's also a great value. If you do not have prosciutto, you can also use salami instead too. And then spinach, fresh spinach. You can also use arugula. We use whatever we have at the time to use up. Both are great. If I had to choose between the two, I think I would do arugula instead because the pepper taste is really great with the contrast from the tomatoes and the garlic cheese bread. I'm gonna take this cute little garlic cheese bread bun. Take prosciutto first, about half a slice per bun, and I'm just gonna tear the prosciutto and place it all over. I'm gonna take some spinach or arugula, whatever you have. Like I said earlier in the video, this is a great way to use up some salad mixes. Take the bruschetta mixture. This meal, my husband and I joke, this meal is delicious, ends up being really pretty, but it is not a meal you'd want to eat like on a first date, because you're definitely going to get your hands messy, but it's well worth it. Voila! Now let's do the other three. And that is our tomato meal, an upgraded version of bruschetta. I hope you enjoy it. I love this meal. It was quick, easy, great way to use up other ingredients that you might have. I hope you try it out. Bye-bye. If you want to see more videos by me, hit the subscribe button. It really helps support me to make more videos too. And I hope you try this out. Let me know what you think. See you next time. I told you. It's messy, but delicious. The crunch of the bread, the garlic, the cheese, which I love cheese, just tastes so fresh. And it feels light as you're eating it. Has the carbs, the protein, the vegetables.
And hello. Hello there. Sit down.